Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to my fan commentary on episode 7 of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy Double Duty, which is also Power Rangers' 300th episode in total. And it's our first episode dedicated to Kendrix, although throughout the entire season of Lost Galaxy, Kendrix hasn't had much episodes dedicated to her outside of this and, of course, part 2 of their team up with the Space Rangers, that being Power of Pink. And I really want to talk about this episode to accommodate that April this year is Pink Ranger month, and I want to dedicate this also relating to my review of the SPD Pink Ranger for the Lightning Collection. We hardly ever see Kendrix and Kai do much training outside of when they did that moon training on the moon back in Quasar Quest. Hardly ever see any of them do any of this for the most part. I wish they did more, a little bit of it. They did do a little bit of some training back in Loyax's last battle, which is way later after this. They definitely had to adapt this episode of Ginga Man right here, beat for beat. But and also Glitz Magazine actually made an appearance here, but I think it was in this and in the Limelight. And the reason why I actually think this episode is slightly better than in the Limelight, in terms of rewatching, given that this and the next season are dedicated to the Pink Rangers being models or so, or just, you know, in this episode's case, Kendrix has a double that's actually an actress and a model at the same time. So you mean to tell me Terra Venture has their own equivalent to Hollywood? And we didn't know about it? You know, that's the thing with Hollywood celebrities. They don't have time for their fans. They don't have time for autographs. They don't have time for... I know. And I understand how it is, the grueling schedule of being a celebrity doing stuff. I had seen the original Ginga Man episode of this, and at least with Saya's, doppelganger, for a movie shoot or something, she was at least a little modest, I think. But with Carolyn, which is Kendrix's doppelganger, because they're both coincidentally played by Valerie Vernon. It would have been funny if, or something similar. Well, I know that they didn't have no intentions of killing off Kendrix when we got to midway through the series, because of course it was alarming that when they heard the news about her being diagnosed with the leukemia when they were still filming the show 22 years ago, they could have came up with some other similar way to keep, some semblance of Kendrix around. But of course they had to kill off a Power Ranger, and I think it was abided to because, again, given her her actress. But again, wait until I talk about To the 10th Power and Power of Pink sometime later. It was nice for them to adapt the Wise Wizard monster, and because again, this was when they were slowly adapting some of the monster villains from Ginga Man within this point, because they were still doing Scorpius, Trakina, the Stingwingers, and Furio at this point. And again, we're almost two episodes away until Tretron's debut, so it makes a lot of sense for them to do that. Of course, it's impossible to have Kendrix and Carolyn, well, basically Valerie Vernon doing two different characters at once. It's like one day of the shoot of the episode, she's Carolyn, and the other half, she's her primary character, the Pink Ranger. So it makes a lot of sense. So it's like one day she shoots for Carolyn, and the other day, of the same episode, she's doing Kendrix. And I know in some shots they probably used a stand-in actress for Kendrix. I mean Valerie doing Kendrix, and then when Valerie's doing the Carolyn character, this guest character of the episode. Because in some shots you can see a stand-in, because you can't have Valerie in a certain shot doing Kendrix with the other Rangers and then Carolyn with the photography team at once, because you know how it is having the same actor playing two different characters all at once on screen, because it's very complicated. But given the split screen technology that they had by the late 90s, early 2000s, when you have actors playing characters played by the same person, but you have to make it similar to who they're playing. Of course, Carolyn has to, her excuse is she wants to fake her injury so she can be out of the movie shoot that she's planned to shoot. You can tell from there was a stand-in actress in the shot with the camera with the glasses off, and then when you cut from Valerie doing Carolyn to Kendrix, because again, it was a very risky episode for them to shoot this, because can't have her playing two different people in one shot. So it's like one shot she's this character, or this shot she's the other character. So it makes a lot of sense that, okay, so how they're going to accomplish this. But given we have, nowadays in film and television, if an actor is playing two separate characters in different, voids, we got split screen technology now. Or get like a stand-in actor, that looks like the actor playing this character, and like probably like do a digital recreation of the actor you have in your cast's face on the stand-in, or I don't know how they would have done that. Because back in the days of Power Rangers, back when the show was filmed in a time like this, back in the 90s and early 2000s, you couldn't really accomplish much of this. Can't have the same person, two different people at once. So they have to have a look-alike of that actor doing the role. This film director looks like a George A. Romero look-alike for the time. It's okay, Kendrix. Take your time with your acting. I understand you're trying to fill in for Carolyn. She should have done it. And oh yeah, they're remaking that movie that Ashley and Cassie was crazy about back in the Date with Danger episode from In Space. I mean, the way how they shot this looks like something out of a soap opera. And yeah, see, well, you just gave it away for doing that high off flip. Flip that actor over because it was not in the script, and you don't want anyone to know you're a Power Ranger. This scenery shot, we had this last back in like Zeo Turbo, one of them, when we had the same scenery set for Ernie's Juice Bar for the back lot for people dining out outside the juice bar, back in season 3 Zeo and early Turbo. At least they kept those set decorations around. God, at least this is not Movie Madness, which is 2 seasons from now. And given that, again, there could have been an opportunity the Galaxy Rangers could have had a movie, or their equivalent of the Movie Madness that the Time Force Rangers would have two seasons later. You can see that stand-in for Kendrix after getting blasted with that patch from Wise Wizard. I was about to say a different monster name with a similar like Wizard Lizard, but they both rhyme. The only difference is they got the same pink shirt, but the pants are different. Like Kendrix is wearing blue pants, and Carolyn wearing black. One is wearing glasses and the one isn't. Of course, it's very complicated because given that Kendrix is very, hate to say, socially awkward, I understand that acting in a movie or a TV show is not easy peasy, but she's trying her best with the script. She's working with this. It feels like you're doing a TV show within a TV show with this. I can see if the movie that they're making was an episode of a television show she had to work on just to fill in for Carolyn because she wasn't an exact split image body double. Oh, Star-Crust Lovers or something. That was the name of that movie that they were remaking. I understand the pain with her leg being injured. I mean, she's trying the best she could to give that performance for that one single shot that the director wants. But every time she tries to, it gets harder. I mean, I understand because I understand how it is. The pain of the pain in her leg is what's making her not want to act this scene out. So no matter how many different takes they do, whether it be 9 takes, 12 takes, 32 takes, 40 takes, even though a director don't have all day to shoot the scene. And you can see the pain and struggle in Kendrix's face and then her body language because, again, the pain from her leg from the monster when he blasted her in the leg with the patch. You know, Kendrix is one of my favorite Pink Rangers, but it's really sad but very emotional to see her try to act her way through and try to get this particular take up this hilltop at the park right. She's trying. But at least this is why, again, and then this dramatic slow-mo, I mean, you could say it's cheesy and stuff, but it works for the scene. She's trying. She finally got it. She finally got the scene right. It worked. And I can tell this is the same park location used for Angel Grove Park a couple of times back in the Zordon era Power Rangers. Usually they're not going to use this park often for most fight scenes and stuff in Lost Galaxy anyway. This was just only for this one bit because every other location they shot for most of their stuff for Terra Venture this season, it's like in the city or a warehouse district, what have you. Even studio sets for like the Scorpio Stinger and Terra Venture sets. I saw some dailies for this episode on YouTube, you know, like unaltered, unedited dailies for this episode, where it was like the complete episode, but it's just when it came to the Rangers in costume and monsters in costume, it was just whoever in the suits, but then they would have to dub over with the main cast. I saw this. I saw an original raw edit of this episode with the time code and such on the bottom side of the screen with the unpolished edit of the episode and how they done it without sound, music, but it's just all this footage. Somewhere on YouTube, if you find something like production dailies for Power Rangers or something, and this particular episode of Lost of Galaxy had a production dailies master on someone uploaded on YouTube some years back. It's very clever that they have to use, you know, Carolyn Kendrix to trick the monster thinking he actually attacked her, because again, you got the same person, and given that they have the same pink shirt but the pants are different. One was holding the script and the other one wasn't. Yeah, double duty stolen beauty. That somewhat similarly rhymes. In a way. Though, Wise Wizard's patches have some Japanese kanjis on them, but it's a little inconsistent. But for a lot of us who've seen the Gingaman version, you probably should know what those kanjis, those Japanese kanjis on those patches really mean. It's uncommon whether if that was really Kendrix doing that double, or was it... Yeah, that was her doing it, because it was not really, Carolyn, because again, she doesn't have the Ranger powers, so at least they resolved that so quickly. It makes sense for them to reshoot this fight scene with the Rangers versus Wise Wizard with the Stingwingers, because again, they still were doing their complete stuff with the Rangers fighting Stingwingers rather than the Swabbies like in the Sentai footage, which makes sense. So they have to reshoot all of this with them fighting Stingwingers at this point. It's very provocatively difficult for whoever the suit actors doing the Rangers running on trees. I mean, at least they better be on safety harnesses when they're doing that kind of stuff. Of course, you can't. You have to cut out scenes of the Pink Ranger doing that cat clawing you in the face thing, like Saya did in Gingaman when as Ginga Pink. So got cut that out. The Quasar launchers. Okay, let's talk a little bit about these, because the Quasar launchers are the third componentable pieces to the Rangers arsenal, tied to the Quasar sabers and the trans daggers. The Quasar launchers were okay, but the thing is, well, there was no explanation how did they get the launchers. It's like in show, but again, the in show explanation, they just got them out of nowhere. It's just there's no explanation how they got the launchers. Let's just assume Alpha made the Quasar launchers, much like he did the Jet Jammers. But that's pretty lazy explanation to put that, though. But though the Quasar launchers, I remember I used to have the Quasar launcher, like I said, back in my Lost of Galaxy Red Ranger Lightning Collection review, if you've seen it, that when they gave Leo's new Lightning Collection figure the Quasar launcher, I minded them giving him that piece of the weapon, that weapon piece for his new Lightning figure. But if the other Rangers had it, I mean, then I would have to recreate them using the Quasar launchers and doing the energy launch pose with the Quasar launchers on the shoulder. I've always had issues with with the Lost of Galaxy Megazord fights, where the Galaxy Megazord, oh, that sandwich. Well, even though that's presented by Subway, eat fresh, only in Power Rangers. Even they're laughing at Kendrix trying to do her well as an actress. Maybe instead of being a scientist for Terra Venture, she could have had some other job like an actress. This scene here, as we end, this could have hinted that Leo and Kendrix could have been a couple. It's just every time they keep teasing us this. They could have been a thing, but if her actress didn't have that leukemia problem midway through production in such of the show, Oh, you mean to tell me they had a flat screen TV before we would have it now? Oh, wow. It's like TerraVenture had really beat us to it with flat screen technology and HD TV. But no, we were still in the days of the standard def, 4:3 ratio TV. So we still had those. And yeah, that was double duty.